My culture is a one-trick pony. Come see what I'm talking about. Hey guys, Anthony Vaughan back again from Cognizance Capital, and I'm going to talk culture to you guys for 1 minute. So, culture for us, right, is a huge thing, right? I mean, we teach a lot of organizations about culture. We teach a lot of, entrepreneurs about culture, whether it's network marketers, whether it's, just traditional organizations, whether it's startup organizations within their first 18 months of operations. We work on culture. Culture is everything, right? Culture eats strategy, whatever the new terms that they have, the sayings that they have. But one variable that we teach heavily on that I want to teach you guys is this: not forgetting where you came from. So I'll say it again, not forgetting where you came from. So Cognizance Capital, when we first started, we spent 9+ months understanding content, right? Understanding the science behind things like focus, happiness, meditation, high return practices, culture, leadership, threat responses, reward responses, paradigm shifts. We understood the science behind as much personal development as we could, as much competent information that we could that would be able to correlate to being a dominant entrepreneur. We had to ingest that information. We had to learn. So one of the big pillars of our culture and our entire company is based around is learning. That's all we do. We learn, we ingest, we get content, we provide. Learn, ingest, get content, provide. And that's all we do. So literally with my partners, with some of the people that work for me, within myself, all we focus on 3 to 6 hours a day is figuring out new information, new science findings, researching, understanding, ingesting, getting new content, figuring out exactly what information can be impactful for us and impactful for our clients. That's all we do. So we will never defer from that. We won't ever run away from that. And that's the variable that I want to talk about, is that with your culture, you have to think back to the first thing, the first skill that allowed you to make your first dollar. Think about that. The first skill that allowed you to make your first dollar. Was it communication? Was it relationships? Was it HR? Was it culture? Was it leadership? Was it processes? Was it operations? Was it innovative thinking? Was it creativity? What allowed you to break through? Right? Like you guys were struggling and fighting and trying to figure out ways to make that money, and then boom, you broke through, you made your first dollar. What was that skill? What was that task? What was that variable that allowed you to make that first dollar? Get that locked in your head right now, because whatever that was, that's what you define your organization as. That's what you define and build your culture on. So if it's learning, learn all day long. You should have 3 to 6 hours every single day focused on how can we creatively and innovatively figure out new content. If it's operations, focus on creatively scaling your operations. If it's, being creative itself, figure out different ways to set out time to figure out how to be more creative. Whatever it is within your organization that allowed you guys to make that first dollar, that's what you build your culture on. That's the variable that I'm noticing right now. You got to be a one-trick pony. Right? Like so many entrepreneurs that are a high level talk about it all the time. They focus on one thing they do great. One thing. Once you figure that out, once you get, laser focused, zoned in on that one thing that you can dominate on, all things can change. So that's the variable that I want every single entrepreneur to take heed to and understand. Focus on that first skill, that first task that allowed you to make that first dollar. And don't forget that. Don't run away from that. Don't abandon that. Because that's who you are. That's what your company believes, and that's what you guys do. Then the next step, right, the how-to, is to figure out how to creatively put in an hour, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 80 minutes, I don't know, like as much time as needed to figure out how to creatively and innovatively scale that task so that you can continue to make more money, you continue to influence more people, continue to add more value. Thanks a lot.